New Mortal Kombat games are on the way, and it's not a rumor. Warner Brothers themselves has confirmed this, because many of their games lately have been failing, and Mortal Kombat is one of the few IPs that they have faith in to make money. And as a result, they've already confirmed that more Mortal Kombat games are on the way, including some single-player focused Mortal Kombat games, all of which is exciting. But then on top of that, the official Ghostface gameplay breakdown is coming very soon. So that's just one more reason to get excited as a Mortal Kombat fan. And before I forget, the Chaos Reigns DLC bundle has recently gone on sale. That's right. So if anybody watching has always wanted to play that DLC expansion, the story mode and all the 3 characters and all the free costumes that come with it, but you didn't want to pay $40+, well then good news, it's gone on sale for a much more reasonable price. But does Mortal Kombat have what it takes to save Warner Brothers financially? Let's talk about it, because another day means more Mortal Kombat 1 news. I'm covering it all the time on this channel, so if you want to stay up to date, then make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss any future videos. And then after watching, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton. And without any further ado, let's begin. Starting off with the Ghostface breakdown. That's right, NetherRealm has just announced that the next Kombat Cast date is going to be on the 13th. And that's November 13th to be specific, which means we finally get to learn all the juicy details about Ghostface's gameplay. So let me know in the comments section, do you think Ghostface is going to have any supernatural abilities? Because I'm leaning towards the possibility that he will. Or in other words, he's not just gonna be the guy with the knife. I predict that he can teleport and possibly some other supernatural ability of that kind. But what has me even more excited than that is his stab ability, because a couple weeks ago or so, Warner Brothers already spilled the beans that that's his special ability, the stab. So I'm wondering what that attack entails. And the good news is we don't have to wait very long. On November 13th, we're finally gonna learn all the details for Ghostface, and that has me hype. But alright, next up, let's talk about the future of fighting games, mainly Warner Brothers fighting games, because it looks like Mortal Kombat 1 is basically the only big title that's been earning the money that they expected, or at least close to the money they wanted. And as a result, WB Games is leaning super hard into Mortal Kombat based content, and that's not the only game. There's 4 big titles in particular they want to focus on in the future. And if you hop on Twitter, everyone is talking about this, so let me just pull up one random tweet by Culture Crave. It opened on the incorrect window though. Let me pull it over here. There we go. So CEO David Zaslav says that Warner Brothers will focus on 4 franchises when it comes to developing games. And those 4 games are Batman, or maybe some DC spin-offs, Mortal Kombat, Harry Potter, and Game of Thrones. That's right, we're getting some Game of Thrones video games in the future, which sounds interesting. Game of Thrones the game sounds hilarious. And I think we all know why Harry Potter is going to be a focus going forward. Hogwarts Legacy was one of the best-selling games in history, not just for that year and not just in recent years, okay? For all-time sales, Hogwarts Legacy was crazy with the amount of money it made. And that's of course why Warner Brothers is leaning so hard into it, but Mortal Kombat is one more of those franchises that WB Games is leaning into super hard. But of course, that's just one tweet. Let's look at one more from the Realmcast. Everyone watching this channel should love the Realmcast because they've had me on their channel a few times and they're just fantastic for Mortal Kombat news. So real quick, let's have a look at their tweet. WB Games will be prioritizing Mortal Kombat, Batman, Game of Thrones, and Hogwarts Legacy for the future. This information was shared during the Q3 earnings call, with a shift in the focus following $300 million in losses from Multiverses and Sushi Squad. Yeah, and that's an important detail to discuss real quick. If you're wondering why Warner Brothers is mentioning this new focus at all, it's because some of their most expensive games barely made any money. In other words, they were massive flops. I'm pretty sure anybody watching who keeps up with video game news is aware of the hilarious flop that was Sushi Squad Kill the Justice League, and I can't say the actual title because the YouTube police might get mad at me. So hopefully everyone watching knows what I'm talking about, but that game cost a lot of money to make and yet did not earn very much money at all. So that's a double whammy. You spend a lot of money and a lot of time making a game, but then it brings in almost no earnings whatsoever. There was no profit either. That game flopped super hard. Or in other words, WB Games lost a lot of money on that investment, and the same is sadly true for Multiverses. And I say sadly because that game is actually a lot of fun to play. I love the 2v2 aspect, and as far as Smash Bros clones go, I think it's pretty fun to play. It's a very enjoyable game. In fact, I think more fighting games should have a co-op option, because yeah, it's fun to play your buddies all the time, but every now and then you want to mix it up and play alongside your friends, which is possible in a game game like Mythologies, but the issue is that game has a ton of microtransactions, which is honestly the main reason why I think the game is not performing well, because it is super fun to play. But then on top of that, the game went on a massive hiatus. There was a beta and you could play it for a bit, then it just went away completely and then came back suddenly out of nowhere. So that's never good for a game's player base either. But then finally, for the third nail in the coffin, I think it's the free-to-play element of the game, because even though free-to-play can be great for video games, with Multiverses it limits how many characters you can play unless you want to buy them. I don't think fighting game players like having to spend money to unlock certain characters they want to play. In fact, sometimes people will buy a fighting game just to play a handful of characters. So if those handful of characters aren't available when they first get the game, then they're going to be turned off immediately, and not like that they have to pay just to get those characters, right? And even though you do have access to some characters when you first download the game, and there is a rotation system of some kind, I still think it was the wrong choice in the end. But hey, as you all know, I love making these videos interactive, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Why do you think it is that Multiverses was such a financial flop? And also, why do you think the Sushi Squad game was such a financial flop? I think it's due to the weird writing and also how they handled Batman in that game. But anyway, I digress. The only reason I brought any of that up is to point out that Warner Brothers Games lost a lot of money. In fact, it's called Warner Discovery Games maybe now, or Warner Bros. Games Discovery. I forget the exact name, but the point is they lost a lot of money on some of their biggest games that were very expensive to make, and they earned almost nothing. And as a result, their new plan is to focus on the IPs and franchises that they know can earn them money, and then dedicate all their time to those specific games. And a side effect of this is going to be way less games every year, but hopefully the games we do get will be of higher quality. And as mentioned earlier at the very start of this video, as a result of this new focus from Warner Brothers Games, we're gonna get new Mortal Kombat games. They've straight up said it. I'm trying to dig through Twitter and find the tweets, but I swear once you view a tweet, it's way harder to go back and find it now for some reason. But the next Mortal Kombat games in development is likely a Mortal Kombat Mythologies game. And if you're an old school fan of the series like I am, then you know there's only one game with that title, and it's the Sub-Zero game, Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero, which is infamous for being incredibly hard and rage-inducing. It's so easy to die in that game over and over again. There's people who speedrun it because they're just that skilled and have that patience, but for the average gamer, Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero is just rage-inducing and very difficult. That's why it's infamous. And apparently WB Games is looking to make more games in the Mortal Kombat Mythologies series. So in other words, you might get a Mortal Kombat Mythologies Scorpion, or a Mortal Kombat Mythologies Liu Kang, or a Mortal Kombat Mythologies Raiden. And for me personally, and I bet everybody else watching this video, fingers crossed for a Shaolin Monks 2 or a Shaolin Monks remake. I don't want a remaster, I want a full remake from the ground up, because that's more bang for your buck in my personal opinion. Remasters can be fine, but I think remakes are always better. But no matter what happens and what game we get in the future, just the fact that WB Games is looking to make another Mythologies Mortal Kombat game is hilarious to me, and I never thought we'd get here. This timeline we're in is crazy. However, unfortunately, let me address the elephant in the room. Since WB Games is focusing on Mortal Kombat, that likely means we're not gonna get Injustice 3. Which is very unfortunate. I look forward to playing that game a lot if it ever does get revealed and announced, but sadly it just seems way less likely now because WB Games is focusing on Mortal Kombat. And unfortunately, the Injustice games never sell as well as the Mortal Kombat games, which is kind of crazy because they have all these famous DC characters in them, yet they still get beaten out by the palette swap ninja boys and girls, which I find awesome but also very funny. Even though I love Mortal Kombat, I find it kind of flabbergasting that a Mortal Kombat game sells more than a DC fighting game. But even if we don't get an Injustice 3, Raven was recently added as a playable character to Multiverses, so if you want to scratch that itch for a DC fighting game, Multiverses is there. It's got a lot of DC characters in it. Superman, Batman, the Joker, and recently we got Raven, so that's kind of cool. And I think her voice actress is straight from the Teen Titans cartoon show, which is incredible. But you know what? One last time, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Injustice 3 is still a possibility? Do you choose to hold on to hope and hold your breath, fingers crossed? Or are you more like me and you think the series is going to be put on hold for a very long time? Let me know any and all of your thoughts down below because, like I say in all my videos, I truly do read each and every comment. So grab that keyboard and make your voices heard. Another day means more Mortal Kombat 1 news. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.